Pastor, if you don't mind, Pastor Carol, if you can come up and give us a quick word of prayer, and we're going to go and get into the program.
Lord, we're grateful today for our opportunity to be here. Thank you, Lord, for this meeting. Thank you, God. You are the Prince of Peace, and God, we're here, God, in the name of peace. We're in your name to pray for unity and pray for direction in this city. We thank you and praise you for all those that have come with great concerns, and we thank you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. So before we begin, I want to sincerely thank everyone who took their time to be here. This evening is not about determining who's right or who's wrong. It's about bridging a gap with the community and the police department. Now, as your police chief, and on behalf of the entire police administration, we've seen your videos, we heard your voices, so we're here. Because of that, we felt there was no better time than now than to have a community connection night, just to help bridge that gap, okay? We're here to engage. We want you guys to engage with us, but we're going to do it respectfully, and we want to get a better understanding of how the community feels about policing and what it is to police the city of Haines City, and give you guys a better understanding on policing as well. So we want to hear what you have to say, but at the same time, we want to give you our heart and give you our minds and how we do policing in the city of Haines City, how we keep you guys safe, all right? Now this idea, it just didn't come about because people was going on the internet. This is an idea that I had probably about 4 months, I think. About 4 months, Lieutenant Carter?
Yes, sir.
And, you know, the time is now. You have the right people in the right place at the right time to get this information out and to see the hearts of everybody, see the hearts of the community, and the community see the hearts of the police department. So this is the right time for what we have going on right now to build a strong bond between police and the community. So everybody that's here, thank you guys for being here. Thank you for being part of taking the first step to this journey. And thank you guys again for allowing me to be your chief and allowing us to be the administration staff. With that being said, we have a panel of, and I hear that one is here, and he said, let's ride, so we're gonna go ahead and go with it. We have a panel of our administration staff and some citizens from the Oakland community. So Mr. Austin, thank you for being here. Again, we're missing a couple people and they're on their way, and once they get here, they'll come on up with us and we'll rock and roll from there. So thank you guys for coming. Also, special thank you to our moderator, our timekeeper and peacekeeper, Pastor Clayton Coward. So thank you for being here, sir. And without further ado, we're not going to hold it up. We're going to get into the program. So we'll turn it over to the moderator. Y'all go ahead and give him a hand while he comes on.
First and foremost, I'd like to say this is something that has not been done in Polk County that I think is really needful. And I'd like to commend your chief at least having this idea to bring community and policing together to discuss ways that things can be done better. I think that's very important to be able to have constructive conversation. We may not all agree upon the same thing, but we want to agree that we want to do the right thing. And so I think just to be able to be heard and be heard from an aspect of trying to make change, you know. We all have arguments, but it's good to have constructive arguments where you can come out with something productive. So we're certainly grateful for that. And all of those that are in the concerns on each side. So I'm gonna ask Mr. Austin if you would come and take a few minutes just to tell us some of your concerns and some of the things that you feel like need to be addressed tonight, and what you'd like to see accomplished tonight, and some of the issues and problems that you see in the community that needs to be addressed.
Well, good evening, everybody. Thank y'all for coming out and being a part of this meeting. Chief spoke on and Pastor Cowell. I'm standing up here on behalf of the community, the concerned citizens of the community. Some in which are in fear of coming to speak to the police for whatever reason they have, and I'm just trying to stand in the gap for our community to help bridge that gap, to partner with them and help the community understand that the police is not here to harm us or hurt us, but at the same time we have to have a mutual respect for each other. We have to be willing to understand each other, come to an agreement like we are tonight, and just be willing to talk it out. Disagree to agree, however that may play out. But my thing is, speaking with a lot of the citizens around my age, a lot of them are, in fear of speaking up because they feel like they'll, receive retaliation in whatever case that may be. So a lot of the times they are in fear of speaking up and voicing their concerns, not because they, don't want to, but because they fear, retaliation. And that's where me standing in the gap, I try to, help them understand that we, as people, we have the right to voice our concerns. We, we shouldn't be fearful of letting someone know how we feel, what we stand for, what we believe in. So, I think this is a good starting point for us as a community. And I want to say I appreciate Chief Jackson for, taking this initiative to, do this, to, start this process. It's not nothing that's gonna change or happen overnight, but we gotta start somewhere. And like I said, I commend him for, taking this step and allowing the community to come in, and, voice their concerns and, be transparent with the community as well as, what they're dealing with from their angle and how we feel about, the harassment or whatever the case may be. But I just wanna, bridge this gap and let the community know that we, the police is not here to hurt us. They are here to protect us, sir. They work, for us, and we should feel comfortable enough to be able to come and voice their concerns. I have a good rapport with half of the people sitting up here. I'm not afraid to go down to the PD and speak with any one of them, and I think that should be the same for every other citizen here. So whatever we got to do to try to build that, bridge that gap and bring back that comfort and that trust between the community and the police, I think, this is a great start, and I'm just, happy to be a part of it. And whatever we got to do to, keep this thing rolling in a positive direction, I'm all for it. And I thank y'all all for coming and, just being a part and being willing to hear, the concerns of the citizens, and then, hearing their side of the story and being understanding of, they got a job to do, and we also got a way to carry ourselves as well. So I think this is a good start to get that process going.
So if I get this right, your concerns from some of the community members that are not here is perhaps the fear of retaliation or harassment. Okay, great. Gentleman here, could you speak, sir? I don't know your name.
Oh, Chris.
You come to the right room?
Good evening. Thank you for inviting me first and foremost. I'm here tonight because I recently moved to Haines City now. It's going on 6 years. And I recently had my son had an encounter with the police. And how it was handled and what was said was not acceptable. I went down to the station. I had a conversation with two lieutenants. They were very forthcoming. But the aftermath of what I learned was not 100% what I was told. So when I had this opportunity to come in tonight with some questions, I asked the opportunity for questions that, I wanted to have a conversation about.
What is it that, what is it that happened? What is it?
So my son was pulled over with 3 of his friends. Right, I forget what block it was right down here in Oakland. And it was literally right after school. He was on his way to go drop during the stop, guns were pulled out, multiple agencies was on scene. When we spoke to the agencies, they tell us they were not on scene. Okay, we had a young gentleman, from what I'm told, was slammed on the car. Kids were being touched in misplaced areas. My son, who was looking to be a police officer, no longer wants to be a police officer. I come from law enforcement. I worked 2 years in law enforcement in New York. So when I left New York, I came here for better. And for this to happen to my son, not in this neighborhood.
Thank you, sir. Claude Holmes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, go over there. You gonna go over there? All right. He's gonna come to you.
Well, you called me up and I just got in, kind of made me feel important, y'all. Well, I'm thankful because what we're looking at here now is a crisis. Y'all forgive me. That's a reflux real bad. I can't hold nothing down. I've been in West Palm Beach today. Had a sub sandwich and agreed with me. But it has nothing to do with our issues. And I think what we need to address right now, we have a whole new staff. The problems that we've had, they're lingering. So they inherited a bunch of problems. Let's give them a chance and get them worked out. And what I'm saying, it's a process. I think they've identified what's going on. And once they've identified what's going on, we can start getting solutions to our problems. Now, I've been watching some of the videos that have been going on in Haines City. And after watching the videos, there's something all of us need to do. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Okay. We can't expect the police department to get everything straightened out for us. Because there's a part that we got to play. Just let them know what we see going on. Let them address the issues. And if they can't address the issues properly, then we take actions. But on day one, when Chief Jackson was appointed chief, there was a whole bunch of baggage right there. I know I'm right. I know I'm right. But because they were there, you can put it all on them. It didn't start overnight. You get it straightened out overnight. So we want to address our issues and allow them to do what needs to be done. As they are doing so, if you see a problem, talk to them. Don't talk about them. I remember when I started having my problems. I went to University of Alliance because all of them was talking. I said, you can do better by talking to me instead of about me. And that's what we need to do. Let's talk to them. This is our community. And if we want it worked out, we can't talk about it. We got to be about it. And when I say be about it, the ones that are in charge to do so, let's let them do it. I think we have a great staff. count nobody out if you ever give them the opportunity to do what they're supposed to do. We all know we have issues here in Haines City, but we also know we're not the only city that have issues. Let's let them work the issues out, and then we come with our complaints. Let's work together. Let's work together. Does that make sense? You sure? Can't make no potato pie without the potatoes. Everybody has a hard place, a place to be. When you play your part, we can make things happen. If we give them, and if I'm not mistaken, I'm a little late because I just got from West Palm Beach. There's a box right there, so everybody can express their issues, and they're going to allow you to talk about it. Once we talk about it, let them know. Let him circulate it through his heads, through his department head, and let's work it out. I think that's no bigger or no better than what I can say. I've been in Haines City pretty much all my life. I've seen some things, even some things that happened to me. And when it was time for me to speak, I spoke, but I was the only one speaking. See, what happened to me happened to me. That's over now. Let's address the issues, and let's do what we gotta do. Yo, please forgive me. I dealing with colon cancer. Won't let me hold nothing down. I'm someone from West Palm Beach, and I couldn't hold it down. So that's why you hear me doing what I'm doing now. That's neither here nor there. Right now, my concern is my grandkids, my kids coming up in this town, dealing with the mess that we've been dealing with. If we address it now, all of our kids be where they need to be. If we address it now, not only will our kids be where they need to be, the progress that we're looking for them to make will be made. Trust me, Rome wasn't built overnight. Rome wasn't built overnight. That was one of my dad's statements to me. And once we see what the issue is, if we address the issue, are you listening? If we address the issue, we can get the problem solved. Now, I don't know who it is outside, but it's got to be the news media. And they're concerned about our concerns because they're here. So if we address it, allow them to address it. Law enforcement. A lot of things being blamed on the police. And I had the opportunity to sit down and look at some of the videos myself. Did I say something wrong, Claude? A lot of issues that we address. I sat there and watched the videos. There's a part that each and every last one of us got to play to make this work. Pastor Calvin, as you have been, as you always will be, you have your fellows here and strong support, which means we're making progress. If we continue to do what we're doing, Haines City will change. I may not see it. The older I used to be, health issues are not like they were. I may not be able to see it, but my desire is to see things change.
job in the aggression of help. I don't know, is there a certain protocol or method that goes over the you guys radio whenever there's a call to the open area, but it just seems that there's a excessive police presence for the least thing that something happens in this area, as opposed to, I don't live in Oakland anymore. I was born and raised here. I live outside of Haines, outside the Oakland area, but I'm constantly seeing the police is making stops, and it's very rare that you see the presence of somebody getting stopped by Walmart, that you'll see the presence of them getting stopped on 11th Street. Now, I don't know if it's a geographical thing, or is it something you say over the radio to describe the race or color of the guy, but that is backwards. And it's injustice, because what it does is some of these young guys have never been in trouble before. And when you mount up 6 or 7 police cars from all different directions flashing lights, that can be alarming. And it also can send out the wrong message. Now, I'm not up here to say, hey, let's stop policing. No, we need police. I love the police. Y'all great. That's good. We have no problem with the police. But I'm just concerned about what is the mentality once the stop is made. It seems that there's an excessive force. I'm curious as to know the excessive force policy. What deems and requires certain measures to be taken place upon the stop? I'm curious to that, because it seems that all stops don't turn in, all the stops don't, how would I say, don't require that level of intensity with the officers. Some of the stops, some of the things can be dealt with in a more genuine, caring fashion, as opposed to it always has to be, let's beat them down, bust them down, and take them in. I just think the approach with the officers can be better. I don't have a problem with the heavy presence. That's if y'all, you guys know your statistics, you guys know what times and which areas need which attention. I'm not questioning you where you do your job. I mean, how you gonna do your job, but I'm afraid for these young guys that I've never been before, because it doesn't seem like it's just a stop. It's like it's a life-altering event, and every police stop shouldn't be that. Every police stop shouldn't be that. So my concern today was just strictly the use of force with the officers, hoping that we can get some more caring officers on the scene. That's why I showed the video earlier. I played the video earlier with hopes that we can bring back compassion with the officers, with the community. That seems to be lacking, because there should be this kind of discord between the officers and the community. It should be able to go hand in hand. But yeah, that was my thing, the use of force policy. And let's get back to doing more than just arresting. Thank you.
I think the four community representatives spoke, so we'd like to hear something now from the law enforcement officers to respond and maybe give your perspective of policing and what it is policing in Haines City.
Well, well, let me say this. I'm Lieutenant Andre Stoudemire. I'm over our Special Services Division. So that entailed our Records Department, Code Enforcement, our Community-Oriented Policing Unit, COPS Unit, as well as the Photo Enforcement, which is red light cameras. I would say this because I served as the COPS Sergeant and was able to work very intimately with a lot of people in a lot of areas, a lot of organizations, and different things like that, in hopes to, help bridge that gap in there. I will be transparent to say that it really, it really burdens me, I would say, and I want to address, the concern that, Jarvis had. That, members of the community, not just the Oakland community, but any community, that would feel, so to speak, intimidated or feel that they are afraid to come and voice their concerns, because they fear of retaliation of some sort like that. Every law enforcement officer, every agency there is, we are there to, as it said, to protect and serve. But we're also there to build that relationship with communities, with individuals, with families, so that, because the truth is, if we don't know your concerns, there's no way we could properly meet those concerns or make the necessary adjustments as needed to meet those concerns. That's a burden to me. I would hope that after tonight, that individuals within here, would not be afraid to voice your concerns. If you can't voice it to everyone, find someone. Jarvis and I, he mentioned that he had a concern about something that he brought up to me that I was supposed to, we were gonna meet. I'm just sharing that. He voiced his concern to me, right? I gave him an explanation as to why it did not happen, but I have to appreciate the fact that he did come to me. So I thought that was very good, and that was as it relates to our community-oriented policing unit. Our cops unit, the engagement unit, is there to engage with communities, within the Oakland community and within other communities within this city. We're there to engage with it. Our unit is not as large as some other agencies may have units, such as Lakeland. They have a large one. They can pretty much put their people out in different ways. But we're not, but we're working to get to that point so that we could better come up with some things. I think we got something coming up soon in May, and I hope you come, and it's internet safety that we're gonna do, and we're planning on doing that right here. I think in this building right here is where we're gonna educate people on that. So I really, I'm saddened that people feel that they would, if, you're one that feels that retaliation would happen, that is certainly not what we stand for. I wish the other gentleman was here. I see that he left as it relates to his son who desired to be a law enforcement officer. He's here? Oh, okay, Mr. Rodriguez. And I would say to you, and I'm thankful that you voiced your concern about that as a concerned parent, a concerned citizen. I think that is the proper thing to do, and I'm glad that you brought that before us. As it relates to your son, that desire that you said he expressed desire to be a law enforcement officer and has since changed his desire based on his experience. You are looking at someone who had a terrible experience in Lake Wales, okay? I had a terrible experience in Lake Wales when I was younger. I had my daughter. We were just coming from she was having piano lessons. Our church had sent her to school to learn music. We wanted her to be able to read music. She knew how to play it by ear. But on the way home, I was going around Big Lake Wells, around Lake Shore, and the lights came on. I knew I wasn't speeding. I wasn't doing anything. I was in a blue Cadillac that was my mom's. Now, this was several years ago, many years ago. But anyway, we were on our way home. They pulled us over. It was about at least 8 or 9 cars that pulled us over. I had no idea why. I'm saying it looked bad for an assistant pastor to get pulled over. And when I got pulled over, they came out guns a-blazing. I had to roll my window down, put my hands out of the window. They put the gun there on my side. My daughter was 12 years old at the time. They put it on her, at her window, and come to find out, they were looking for the wrong car. They were looking for a white car. I had a blue. They had a Caucasian suspect. I thought pretty much, I'm dark enough to tell that ain't it. That left a bad taste in my mouth. I'm being honest. It left a bad taste in my mouth, the experience. As today I talk about it, I still am troubled by that experience. But I had to make a choice, and this is what I wish your son would hear, what I would tell him. That if that's something he wanted to do, there's a choice you can make. And that choice is, either I can complain about the way things are. Henry Ford said, if you always do what you've always done, you will always get what you've always got. So I have a choice to make. And the choice that I made was, if change is gonna happen, it must first start with me. And so what I did, I decided later in life that, you know what? I wanna go in law enforcement, not to be a hero. No, I didn't want to get in law enforcement to be a hero. I got in law enforcement because I wanted to help curb the perspective of it. And if I could reach one person and give them a good experience, still got to do my job, okay? I still have to do my job. If my job requires me to take someone into custody, I could do that, but I don't have to be nasty about it. I can still treat them with respect. I chose to do that. This gentleman here, that video you played, is me on many scenes. There are many scenes that I hide the fact of who I am outside of law enforcement. I really don't come out telling folks that. But at the needed time, they need to know that there's a pastor on duty. And I have prayed for people that needed it at that moment. I have been there to give encouraging words for people at that moment. And there are officers, and some might be in here, that have been on scenes with me when I had to change that hat around. But my responsibility as the cops lieutenant is to help every community, to help children, adults, and senior citizens, to help them have a better understanding of what we are about, so that when children see us, they don't see us, or adults see us, they don't see us thinking, oh, what they here for, somebody finna go to jail. I want you to see us as number one, people, number two, as individuals that know how to engage with the community, the different cultures of the community, so that we all can live wholesome. I'm sorry that your son is, have that in his mind, but he can overcome that because I did it. And you're right. Compassion is the key to a lot. Because whoever I stop, I don't know what they deal with, right? Everyone on this panel that worked for Haines City, and I'm sorry, Pastor, I'm way too long, but everybody that has worked with me on the road know that one of the things I love to do, that I do a lot, is traffic stops. I do them a lot. Not as much as I used to, but I did traffic stops a lot of traffic stops. The vast majority of the tickets I wrote, people told me thank you. I still don't understand that, but they would say thank you. One gentleman said thank you for the experience. And it wasn't for getting a ticket, it was changing that perspective, that outlook, that interaction that law enforcement have with a citizen when they pull them over. Because one of the things I think about is when I pull someone over and I'm talking to them, I'm wondering in my head, what's their day like? That's what I think about. I pull you over, you're agitated, you're angry, and all this, and why is this? I think sometime in my mind what their day like, but I would hope they think what's mine like. So, we're gonna work from cops' point of view to kind of close that gap off. Because if you have a voice, it deserves to be heard. Now, as the cops lieutenant, here's my final saying. I don't make promises I can't keep. So here's what I say to all of you as it relates to trying to bridge that gap. I will promise you efforts, but I can't always promise outcome. But you will definitely get the effort from me because sometimes things are out of my hands. It may be out of officers' hands, but that is certainly what I would do. But we want to bridge that gap, and I thank you for bringing that up. Jarvis, thank you for bringing that up, and brother, thank you because you definitely on point. Compassion it takes us a long way.
I don't know how we follow that up, but he's absolutely right, guys. The reason we're doing this is because we want you guys to feel like y'all can come and talk to us. We want you guys to feel like y'all can reach out and touch us. That's why we're here. We're no better than anybody else. We just wear this badge. But this badge doesn't separate us from being human just like you. We're the same people. We're all the same. Yes, we may not agree on certain things. Some of our outlooks may be totally different, but at the same time, we're people just like you. So you may have a bad day, we may have a bad day, but we're not justifying anything. But that's why we're here. We definitely want to hear what everybody has to say. We definitely want to bridge that gap. And again, we're here for you. We're not here to intimidate anybody. I'm gonna tell you right now, as your chief, our officers will not be out here intimidating anybody. They will do their jobs, whether they like the outcome or not. As citizens, we're gonna do our jobs, but we're not here to intimidate anybody. So definitely, the compassion part is definitely something that point taken that we'll bring in a little more. So thank you.
I'm Deputy Chief Ed Moran. I've been here about 6 weeks now. Absolutely excited when Chief Jackson reached out to me and asked me to come over. My goal every morning when I wake up is to come to Haines City, make sure that Haines City is a better place and that people are treated properly and fairly. And with that said, the first concern I want to address is something the gentleman spoke to. I've heard this before on body cam footage, over policing in Haines City. So the first thought I had was to pull the statistics for the month of April, how much activity actually takes place versus how much we think is taking place. So I pulled the traffic stops from April 1st to April 29th for the city of Haines City. There's a total of 520 traffic stops from April 1st to April 29th. Out of those 520 traffic stops, 93 of them were in Oakland. Out of those 93 traffic stops, 62 of them were cleared without a traffic citation. Of the 62 warnings that were given out, there were 31 traffic citations written in Oakland for the month of April, from April 1st to April 29th. So we're averaging about 1 ticket a day. So the perception that Oakland may be getting over-policed, and I understand that perception is reality, but those are what the actual numbers are. 520 traffic stops for the month for the whole city of Haines City, 93 in Oakland, 62 warnings given out, and 31 traffic citations written. So, traffic stops appear to be the most frequent contact that citizens have with law enforcement, and they're not always a pleasurable situation. As a matter of fact, it's probably the most memorable situation that citizens have as far as contact with law enforcement. Most of the time what we see is people don't know what should be happening. You got a lot of YouTube lawyers, you got a lot of people that get information from people that give them bad information, and the most powerful weapon that you have, people don't use it. Most of the answers that we're looking for nowadays, you already got the answer in the palm of your hand, but I don't know why, but people just they use that phone for everything but what they should be using it for. The information's right in your hand. This is a little information on traffic stops. Not too detailed, we're not lawyers, we're not giving legal advice, but just some understanding on what happens on a typical traffic stop. Transparency and trust on traffic stops. City of Haines City has body cams. I love body cams. Whenever we get complaints, the first thing we do is pull the body cam footage. That camera's gonna tell the story, and most of the time what we're hearing is something different than what's captured on the body cam. Why do traffic stops occur? Traffic violations. What are traffic violations? Speeding, improper lane change, improper turns, erratic driving, DUI, suspicious activity. What's considered suspicious activity? People in a place doing activities that are not appropriate for that time of day. For example, you're at Publix at 1 o'clock in the morning, Publix is closed. Or you're driving along in your car with a ski mask on. Okay, reasonable suspicion and probable cause. Probable cause means they more than likely committed the crime that they're being accused of. Reasonable suspicion, again, driving around at 3 o'clock in the morning with a ski mask on, driving through the plaza when it's closed. Observable facts. Again, you're in a place at a time where you shouldn't be, and it looks like you're doing something you shouldn't be doing. You're messing with the lock at the front of a closed business at 2 o'clock in the morning. Okay, what should you do as a citizen? Pull over as soon as you can, as safely as you can in a safe location. Now that does not mean you turn your hazard lights on and you drive all the way to your house and pull in the driveway 5 miles. You know, as soon as you can, obviously you don't stop in the middle of Highway 27. You find a safe place to pull over and you pull over and stop. Okay, stay in your vehicle. Don't jump out of your vehicle and start asking questions. Stay in your vehicle. If you have dark tinted windows, it'd be advisable to roll your windows down. Keep your hands on the steering wheel. Keep your hands at 10 and 2. They will come up and start giving you instructions. I'm sure they will. Remain calm and cooperative. People probably shouldn't do this, but people match energy. If you give them something, you might get it back. So remain calm. And it will be captured on body cam. If the officers get out here and they do something they shouldn't be doing, we'll deal with that. But remain calm. What will the officers do? What they typically do is walk up and identify themselves and tell you the reason why they stopped you. Then they'll ask for your driver's license, registration, and proof of insurance. You must provide those things by Florida law. There's a misconception that you don't have to provide those things until they tell you why they stopped you. That's the courteous thing to do, and that's what we train them to do. However, there is no Florida state statute that says they must tell you why they stopped you before you give them your information. Now, your rights, you have the right to remain silent. You have the right to ask them why you've been stopped. You have the right to refuse a consent to search, and you have the right to record on your phone. What are your responsibilities? You're required to provide your documents. You're required to follow lawful commands. Don't obstruct them. Don't stop them from doing what it is they're trying to do. And remain respectful. Now, vehicle searches. What do you need in order for your vehicle to be searched? If you consent to a search, in other words, if you tell them, if they ask you, can they search your car, and you tell them yes, don't file a complaint later. You said it was okay for them to search your car, and you said yes, and they searched it. They can search your car incident to arrest. If you're going to jail, they're gonna inventory your vehicle. In certain instances, which won't affect most traffic stops, they can get a warrant to search your car. But most of the time, that won't be the case. Common traffic violations: speeding, window tint, obstructed tag. And what's an obstructed tag? You see people that like to have the little decorative tinted tag covers on their tag. That's an obstructed tag because it obstructs the officer's ability to be able to read that tag, particularly if it's a tinted tag cover. Expired registration. Your tag light is out. Not wearing your seatbelt. The moving violations that we discussed earlier. And DUI, driving under the influence. no obstruction, and visible from 50 feet at night. Okay, window tint is a very frequent stop in Oakland. Well, actually in the city, not just Oakland. Your front windows have to be 28%, rear windows 15%, and your windshield, the tint can't be any lower than the AS1 line. Now, there are exemptions for people with medical problems, and you have to have paperwork for that from your doctor. Okay, after the stop, what happens? You'll either receive a warning, a citation, an arrest in some cases, and an explanation of what your next stop should be if you get a citation. Professional conduct on our side, respectful and professional behavior, de-escalate if necessary, and focus on safety. Now, what does safety look like? Safety looks different for different people. We as people, we're the total sum of our life experiences. What I might be comfortable with, somebody else might not. Certain things I might see, they may not necessarily get me stirred up. Don't expect for everybody to be like me. Halo law. If you're not familiar with the Halo law, it requires that you're 25 feet away from first responders while they're doing their job. They have to give you one verbal warning before they can arrest you. After that, you're subject to arrest if you come within 25 feet of them. 25 feet, some people can't judge distances, but the average roadway is 24 feet wide. So about the width of the roadway is how far you should be away from the officers. Now, they do have to warn you once. After that, you're subject to arrest. Why does the Halo law matter? Protects first responders, prevents interference, and still allows people to record from a safe distance. You can stand there and watch and record all you want to. Reporting to police is allowed under law, and it must comply with the Halo distance. Safety interaction tips. Stay calm, follow instructions, avoid sudden movements, and communicate clearly when you're dealing with the police. In order to build trust, you have to have mutual respect, transparency on our part, and community partnership. Any questions?
Yes, de-escalation.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Could we go to the questions after this?
Yes, sir.
Let's open, so we can have it open at the end. Let's do it. Any other, officer would like to say something?
I wasn't sure what you said we should look at on our phone. I wasn't sure what you were saying we could look at before we got stopped or at a stop.
Well, maybe after you get stopped, it might be a little bit too late, but information. People always have a lot of questions, and typically they'll get bad information from people. You can ask those questions in your phone, and you'll probably get a much better answer than you will from one of your friends.
Any other response from any of the law enforcement? Now, no, go ahead. Okay. I think, one thing is important, and it's good that we're all here today. I think one of the issues is a lot of the individuals who may have problems are not here today. I think that's a big, but we're glad that we've started. I think we can build the trust that they can feel that they're comfortable enough to come and speak. I have a question I'd like to ask. How much of the problem that we're having, or you feel that the problem from the community leaders, has to do with race? How much of those problems do you feel like any of that has to do with race relationships? I'd like to hear from you. Ask that question.
That's pretty much the number one thing that, the number one concern that citizens, bring up. They feel like they're being stereotyped, not only because of their race, but
I'm Lieutenant Carter. I'm the lieutenant in charge of patrol. I'm the commander. And most of these problems are from my division. I do apologize for us being here. We should be together out on the street working together. I've been in law enforcement for almost 40-something years. And it's a step-by-step to get new officers to conform to the job, because most of the time, new officers come on the street, they see videos from TV, they see all this stuff, and they feel they can act that way. With this new administration, they cannot act that way. We're all gonna be professional, we're all gonna treat everyone as equal. We're all the same. If we cut one another, we're all gonna bleed red, right? So we all have to do it together, and that comes from the community and from us. I take every one of my officers as a son, because when I was coming up, my father always taught me to treat people like you would want to be treated. I always tell the officers, how would you like your family to get treated? How would you like your grandmother to get treated? How would you like your brother? How would you like your sister? How would you like your wife to be treated? And it's a step by step, but we are working on it. I promise you that. If you have any concerns, I got my cards here. We'll give you my card with my cell phone number on it. Please call me. If you don't call me and tell me, I don't know. But I hope to God that they're not stopping because you're green, purple, or red, black, yellow, whatever. They are not supposed to do that. And if I catch one officer, and the chief can swear to this also, they probably won't be an officer if they're doing that.
So I got a question for you guys, the community, right? If just think about this for a minute. If I'm an officer and my beat is Oakland, right? I'm a white officer, my beat's Oakland, and I do a traffic stop. Does my race matter? It doesn't. Why?
You're doing your job.
So my point is simple. If we do beats, and we don't put anybody in any specific beat because they're white, black, yellow, gold, or brown. We put them in beats, sometimes beats change by the day, right? So if a white officer is put down here and he does a traffic stop, DC, my deputy chief already given the statistics, right? And they do a traffic stop, is race a factor? Excuse me?
If we're gonna be real, should it be? That's the answer you wanna hear.
If it's, we're looking at legal stops now, we have our body worn cameras, and just so you guys know, hold on, I'll get to you. Just so you guys know, we view our cameras. LT view them every morning. We view them. You guys are able to come and make a complaint, but we can view them. But again, if I'm a white officer and I'm put in this beat and I make a legal stop, I don't care if it's window tint, I don't care if it's the tag, whatever. If it's legal, there's no way we can say race matters.
Right. Okay, thing about that.
Come on. That's what we're here for.
Yeah. No, it's not, improper for the white officer to make, legal traffic stop in the black section. But it's wrong when the white officer, I don't know what y'all said with that radio, but the window tint should not require 10 officers and 5 guns. That's my only thing.
And this administration is 100% with you. Here's what our message has been to our officers, and this is for everybody to hear and understand. When we do a traffic stop, if you need a backup officer, call one. But our idea, have that one backup officer. If they're not needed, go ahead and tell them to go. We're definitely not in the game of having 5 officers on one traffic stop. I can tell you right now, if that's happening, we're seeing it. But if y'all continue to see it, y'all let us know and we'll take care of it. We're watching our cameras and we are taking care of it internally. We are.
I don't think it's the white officer pulling over the minority. I think it's how the interaction is happening.
Yes, sir.
How the individual being pulled over, how they're being spoke to, how they're being treated is the problem. It's fine to be pulled over, but to be harassed and spoken to like you're nobody, that shouldn't be allowed.
The actual question from you all here, from just a show of hands, how many of you feel like there are issues when it comes may just be cultural and relationship. Do you ever heard of chitlins?
Yes, sir.
You know what they are? You ever heard of chitlins? Oh, yeah. You know chitlins? You know what hog maws are? You ever heard of hog maws? Never heard of hog maws? You know what a hog maw is? You know what a hog maw is? Hog maw is? Never heard of it. Okay, I'm sharing this because there are things that when you get to know a different particular race, now we know when you get to know they have different things they eat, so you gotta learn the culture, know people. I think rules without relationships equals rebellion. Rules without relationships, if you have rules and no relationship, you automatically have rebellion. So there must be relationship and policing. That's very important. So I would say, I mean, I think this is the beginning, but let me give an example. I think this would be a good point. Give an example. I would like you to give me your example of what a stop for a minority is. So if you stand, I want you to demonstrate that. You and this brother, give me an example of what a stop of a minority, because we got to be looking at them. You got to look at things from the community standpoint, and the community too has to look at things from a law enforcement standpoint. So I would like to, we got to get in the minds of each other. In order for a marriage to work, a husband must think like a wife, and a wife must think like a husband. And so in order for a community to work, you got to think like a black man. And a black man has to think like a white officer. So we got to get in each other's head in order to know how to interact with each other. So if I go to my wife and give her a toolbox, that's not going to work. I want to give her what I feel like she likes and give. So we got to get that's just one thing. So just a minute, it's all right. I like to do that. If you could, you and this brother here, give me an example. Y'all just come, just a quick skit. It won't take but a minute. You come, brother, you driving, all right, and you tell me, and you come over there, you driving. You tell me what this stop looks like. We're gonna come to the community later, because what we need to do is we want to establish something first. So we gotta have an order. So we're not ignoring, because the chief has allowed us to have a time that's set and we can hear from the community, but we're not ignoring them. But we want to have a dialogue first so that we can, elevate to having questions here. So I'd like you to give me, so that you can see what a stop looks like to you as a black man just being stopped. You cop, you driver, whatever, and what does that stop look like to you? What's that?
Y'all didn't know y'all was coming to a plate. We're gonna give it to you. We're gonna give it to you, Rob. Let's go.
All right. Tell me what that stop looked like.
How you doing, Officer Rodriguez? Reason I'm pulling you over here this evening. First and foremost, the reason should be explained off the record.
Oh, no, I know. I want the bad version. I want what happens, not what should happen. I want to know what happens and I want to know what actually takes place, so that you can see what you feel takes place when you're stopped.
License registration. You moving? Stay still, please. Do we have a problem? Stop moving. 77, whatever they call it.
Now listen.
I probably said the right code.
It's amazing you said 77, but let me tell you guys what 77 actually means on our radio. It means everything is all right.
77 happened, and the feds were there, the sheriff.
We're going to get an understanding on your situation shortly.
So you, brother, give me an example. Can you give me an example?
You want my honest example?
Yeah. I want your honest
No, I'm
example.
gonna be honest, it ain't gonna have anything to do with him. My father's been in prison since I was 9. He got 3 life sentences. My teacher in 9th grade told me when I'm pulled over, put my arms out the window. So I immediately dropped my key. I ride with guns. I've been pulled over in dark areas. The police have guns drawn, but I have children. So growing up here, we have the mentality of F the police. They're human. They're people just like us. And then me, I was an officer, but guess what? I'm coming home to my sister and uncle saying, F you, you know what I'm saying? So they're humans too. I ain't siding with nobody, but what I want to say is it all starts at home, and it starts with training. Okay, if you've been pulled over, right? Let's say you've been pulled over. It's 5 black guys in the car.
I don't want to, what I want now, I don't want the good way.
I'm a man.
But I want to have an opportunity, for you all to be able to, what I'm saying, I want to give you the opportunity.
This is what I'm gonna tell you. I've been pulled over. Me and my homeboy Snapper was at the park, 15. Asking God, say, I'll blow your effing brains out the police department.
Yeah.
I've had it happen before. What I'm telling you, when it happens, even if they're disrespectful, I tell my sons, you got to make it home.
Right.
So no matter what they're saying, son, make it home, because if anything happens, guess what? Daddy coming.
Right. But see,
so what I'm saying is the bad stuff happened, but it's about how we respond.
Yeah, I want, that's what I,
and I apologize.
No. I want to give you an opportunity to show us how a child should respond in those circumstances. So what I want to do, I have a different segments of that. So I need you for that.
Yes, sir.
I just want to show now the interaction, and then how parents should actually tell their children to respond, whether the officer is right or good. So I need you for that.
I had guns drawn. I mean, I thought I was gonna be blown away, but
Right.
my teacher told me I got pulled over.
Yeah.
I dropped the keys and I put my arms out the window.
Yes.
And sometimes I'm wrong.
Right.
And I admit, hey, yes, sir. Even if I'm in the wrong, I'm gonna say yes, sir.
But see, we need more people like that.
But see, people are afraid because we're taught F the police.
Yeah. And that's
You know what I'm saying?
They have those kind of
But I mean, we can't make changes. But I'm just saying, like, I've had them, guns drawn. First of all, I got God with me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna treat a man with respect. If he treat me with respect, you know.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to survive and go home. So yeah, you go through that, then you go home and tell your now your parents come. But start by, okay, I've been in the car with friends before, and everybody, you know who your kids are hanging around. So just be real as parents.
Right.
You know, okay, you were such and such. Now you know what comes with it. You know, I worked at the gym. I've seen a lot of lives lost. It hurt me.
Right.
We lost a lot of people here. So but it starts like I'm not taking those sides. But what I'm saying is, in the midst of it,
Show respect.
get home.
Yeah, I got you.
Show respect.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Get home. And like I said, for my children,
Yeah.
Pop gonna show up if something was done wrong.
Right.
I'm gonna do it the right way.
Right.
That's all I'm saying.
I
Like,
got you.
I'm on my community side, but
Right.
we have to survive.
Right.
It is a lot going on wrong. It is. But get home.
Right. And what I wanted to do, because I want the officers to give us, just like they're doing, I want them to be able to give us an example of how a response is in stopping. So you mentioned the kids may say help the police or whatever. So I like them to give their response of how an interaction may come. That's because we're giving our perspective. In just a minute, we're coming to everybody. So
And I apologize.
No.
I'm saying I ain't no aggressive. I care for I cry. I love my community, man. And it hurts,
I
Yes, sir.
got you.
Yes, sir.
So, could I have one of the officers to come and assist me with this?
Is this a negative one?
This is a negative. This is you stopping. This is you. We're gonna have plenty more of these, I believe, but we wanna expedite time.
Now make sure when you're the officer, you cover on your own experience. It's like church, like you cover on your own experience.
So what I would what I like to have is an idea of an officer who is playing the role of a child who's being stopped, who's gonna respond to him inappropriately. As an officer coming in a nice way. So I wanna see, I'm trying to get the mindset, just like they're showing you how we're responding to. I wanna see your perspective, how you're saying we're responding to you. Or the community's responding to you. You follow what I'm saying?
I get you.
So that if you could get up with my brother, and let me have an officer now being stopped, a child being stopped, show me the response that you have maybe from some.
I'll do it.
Okay, all right, good. So who's gonna be the police? Okay, come on. And then.
Now, see, the good police are down.
Okay, this is good police, right? Well, I'm gonna need it, so you can get the perspective of what I'm trying to do. I need someone who's coming the right way, because we gotta be honest, we do have things go both ways. So I wanna be able to see from both perspectives, all right? So let's say somebody's coming the right way, you put it this color over, all right?
Right, Chairman, too. I'm gonna say this is the right way, but it was a real experience. So it could have been right from the officer's perspective, I'm nervous, and I'm trying to understand what's going on. So, out of the car, out of the car. On the ground. On the ground, now, facing the dirt, on the ground, facing the dirt. Now, I'm not strong enough to, but basically, I was non-compliant, I wanted to stay in the car because that was my safe place for me, was to stay in the car. It happened years ago. I called a friend of mine who eventually said, so you could go ahead and get out of the car. You know, so eventually I did get out. But from the officer's perspective, it could have been that he thought that he had who he was looking for, the suspect that robbed the bank earlier. So they had already had a briefing. I found out later there was be on the lookout for this black Dodge Charger that had these rims, dark tinted windows. But again, they was looking for, it wasn't a white male with blonde hair. It was a guy, they were looking for males that had dreads. Now here I am in a headed to the Florida Classic. And it's two females. It's two females. And I'm a little bit nervous because I didn't think it would trigger me actually doing this. But I think what we're seeing in the community that we've been talking about is these young men, I'm not saying they're right or wrong, I don't know the entire situation, but you got parents that are trying to get answers and then they're not getting the answers from the body camera. But that's basically what I'm trying to show you is that I don't know what was right from the officer's perspective because they thought that they said they was looking for a male and we were women. But when you approach the scene and these are females, and they eventually said, I think that maybe we were the girlfriends or a family member because the car matched the description.
Okay.
But if it, so that's basically.
So let's do a proper stop on both sides. Police proper stop and the individual responding properly. And let's see.
Tell her to drive past.
Okay. Proper on both perspectives. And I do think, because I think just in conversation, one of the things I think key components to improving, because everybody said, many people said, one of the key components to improving the relationship, that there is some race relationship issues. Not saying that anybody's racist, not saying anybody's not, but we know that's an issue that we need to have addressed. Race relationship, because that's something that comes up. So, okay, I understand, but we'll get to it. Let's do a proper, but I'm saying based upon what different ones are saying now, the majority of the people in the room are saying. So let's do a proper stop. This how officers should respond and how an individual who's being stopped should respond.
And this is not an act, this is how I do everything.
All right, okay.
So I called it out, I go up here, I speak to her, I say, how you doing? I'm Lieutenant Stoudemire with Haines City Police Department. The reason why I stopped you, I captured your speed 65 and a 45-mile-per-hour speed on flag license, registration, and proof of insurance. Thank you, ma'am. And I might ask, what you speed, if I know her, what you speeding for?
I honestly didn't realize I was going that fast.
Okay, just sit tight a minute and I'll be right back, and I'll go back. At that time, I'm deciding, I'm determining. I'm gonna check her license, make sure her license is good. By now, I already know if her tag is good, and I have discretion. So at that point, if her license is good, I'm making a determination in my mind, with me, based on a couple factors. Number one, my interaction with her. Is a determining factor right off. If I go up there and do her, and the first thing she hollers, "What you stopping me for?" 9 times out of 10, you finna eat that ticket. I'm gonna be 100% because I haven't even done anything yet, and you already blasting it. Okay?
Probably won't get it to you.
So, probably won't. And I can tell you, when I do a traffic stop, most of the time, when I stop and I start walking that way, in my mind, I'm saying whether I'm gonna issue a ticket or not. But that is predicated upon my experience here. And that's the discretion I have as an officer. So I go back, Counselor, I run, if everything's good, I look at her history. Because if she was caught speeding 2 weeks ago, she ain't learned a lesson yet. You see? So I look at her history. If her history is good, then when I go back, I say, you know what, I'm gonna cut her a warning.
I think the first thing you did that really calmed a lot of issues down is you mentioned, first of all, the reason. Because that becomes the problem. Why I'm being stopped?
you actually give them your license. So keep that in mind too. Again, knowledge is power. So if you know this stuff, you know how to deal with it. So keep in mind, state statute, you guys can look it up. It's Florida state statute. It's for everybody. They don't have to tell you until you give them your license. All right?
That's just my style.
Yeah, and again, I think, like, the chief said, it's not mandatory. But I would say, I would advise, if we're trying to build a relationship, we already know that can be a conflict. I think you don't wanna put, you put water on a fire, not lighter fluid.
Yes, sir.
So I think if that, I'm saying that's not what you have to do. And that's not, and I think on both sides, sometimes it's important because there are gonna be some people that you're gonna stop that are not gonna behave like this.
Absolutely.
Our officers trained to know that even if they don't act the way I should, I'm not gonna go to, and then citizens the same way. So I'm just something just to mention.
One and the same.
Yeah, just mention. All right, so we're gonna move forward, and I wanna say this, we're not ignoring anybody, especially our sister there, we're not ignoring you. We got an agenda that we wanna go by, and so we can finish. So this section here, we're moving on. There is a written, concern, box out front. And the chief has said that he will take, not just the written concerns, but a few people who just want to, stand and speak their concerns. I know you want to do maybe three. All right, we'll do maybe three. And this sister here was waiting. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna get the written concerns. We're just gonna go in the box and get those concerns out, ask these questions, and then we'll open up for three individuals, out front. How people like to say something, okay? To make a concern. Well, let you read that for me.
Speeding up and down the street. That's all I'm saying.
Speeding up and down the street, okay.
Speeding up and down the street. Who you come from?
Who has the speed up and down the street?
Oh, that was.
Okay, yeah, I like that.
Let's talk.
Before we run out of 1008 Avenue L,
Oh.
you see?
Napoleon, 1008 Avenue L, Bay City. We have a gentleman, I don't know who they are, they're speeding up and down the streets, doing donuts in the road and everything, going down the road 40, 50 miles an hour, and then just stomping into the floor, just spinning in the road, it's crazy.
What area is that in?
That's on Avenue N, Oakland.
So that's in the Oakland area? Okay, all right.
And you say, what do you say, the speeding up and
Speed
down the
up and
street?
down the street.
And again,
Those charges and Hellcat, whatever.
Yes, sir. I think I'm glad you brought that up, because again, it goes back into one of those things is, when we're down here, they're saying it's excessive, they're saying there's too many officers. So again, yes, ma'am, what'd you say?
It's not.
It's not? But this is one of these points where, this is the point where we have this conversation. Are there too many officers, or are there not enough officers? Again, when we're out making these traffic stops, then it's saying we're excessive. So, here, come speak. You had your hand up, so I ain't gonna.
Thank you. My concern is, my son is a sheriff in Leon County. He comes home, and when he comes home, we sit on the porch on the weekends. He said, Mom, I haven't seen a cop the whole weekend. There's no cops coming up and down the road. I don't see you guys if they're excessive. I don't see it. The loud music, I have my grandchildren outside, come with the loud music, and it's so much cursing on, I have to bring my grandchildren inside, because it's cursing is so horrible in the neighborhood, so horrible. And I sit to see a cop. I even call. I even talk to you guys about cops. I don't see them. They're not on my street. And like Sweet said, the gunning and the speeding, and you can look on the roads and see the tire marks. I was coming home from church one Sunday, and the guy coming down ML with him, you stop and assist the officer's approach. And the kids did not give the officers the approach that they were looking for, but the officers gave them the approach that they were looking for. He pulled the guns out on them, which it was just a basic traffic stop from going from, no, they didn't ask them did they get out of school. They said, what gang are you guys in? What's your affiliation? That's where the discriminatory comes in now. And then they say, oh, they're laughing, just like y'all said, 77 means everything okay. But now we got over 5 officers pull up, get out the fucking car, but listen, the language they're using. If y'all want to be respected, respect us. That's what I'm saying, the language. And then we come to the police department to try to get understanding, but guess what we get? The runaround. We get passed from the loony to someone else, to someone else. Did you get the runaround? And a lot of different stories.
I got answers when I got there that day and when I got there the second day. Both the answers, different answers, different days.
Different answers from different people. First, the sheriff initiated the traffic stop. Then, no, Haines City initiated the traffic stop. So we're looking for truth, transparency, the same thing they expect from us. You understand what I'm saying? That's just like my son saying, excuse me, what it's for? 77, now I stop fucking reaching with a gun. That was their first experience from law enforcement, and they scared. They're afraid. They might not pull over again. And then now it's a felony charge because of a simple citation. They stopped me from the alarm going off. Then got a seatbelt ticket. The seatbelt was on. Fabricating. They're lying under oath. I just went to the ticket with the Haines City Police Department, beat the ticket. He lied under oath. Right to the judge. We got to do something about this. That's my only concern is our youth. I understand police is needed, but police have to respect everybody. It's not, you know what they did? These officers are not the problem. The problem officers are not here. It's bait. That's what this is. This is bait. We can laugh, we can joke with all you guys, because that's when you come out, you treat the community with respect, but when y'all are gone, we know the shifts that comes in and do it, right? Is it just a certain shift, or we're not saying all the officers are bad. Y'all got a game. It's a game. But we're sitting here key, but guess what? Everything's gonna get swept under the rug because we're not approaching the game, we're approaching the people we see now. But what about the people that we don't see? Y'all, when you stop to assist the boys, what did the officer tell you, Officer Hamilton? What did he tell you? To get the fuck back before he arrests you. Why our kids can't be coming from school? It was 2:30, normal time for high school kids to come out of school. Why they have to be gang affiliated? Again, you wanna know what? They told you they DNA my son, right? Because he had a swab. That what you was told, right? So they basically was trying to tell you that my son was the criminal that they were looking for, correct? To justify the things they did during the traffic stop, right? Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, but no, my son had an ID. Everybody got ID, so the excessive force wasn't needed. The way you identify is running the ID, correct? My son is 6'2", the guy that was looking for is 5'2". He's my height, my son is 6'2". Then to drag him out of the car, put him in the police car with no AC, then come back and say, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. Are you able to breathe? 10 minutes. My son said he sat back there for 10 minutes. It's unacceptable. And then y'all say retaliation. If I show you guys my Facebook page, I know the gang of officers because I block them. They come on every day. Hi. You got blocked. You got blocked. Y'all are watching in retaliation. I spoke up about the Haitian guy getting killed. Guess what? The next day I got pulled over with a false ticket. So retaliation is real, and you want me to show you the group of officers that's on my page that I got screenshotted?
Have anybody filed complaints against those particular officers?
Yes, we have. We have filed numerous complaints, but I don't believe nothing is done. The day after I filed the complaint, I had to go file another complaint because the same officer harassed me at the store. After he provoked and harassed me, he told the other officer, turn on your body camera. So it's not like we're saying demote the police, but we're asking for respect from the police and we give respect too. We're not telling our kids to cuss y'all out, to disrespect y'all, to, call y'all names. They're complying, everything good, not guns in their face. First time being stopped. That's my concern, and then we're sitting here laughing. There's no joking. Our kids are gonna die. Our kids are gonna die if we keep laughing and playing patty cake. No, this is not sweeping nothing under the rug. This is not traffic stops. This is about the things they're doing in this community to our youth. We can play, We can laugh, we can say, yeah, the music is loud, but this isn't about that. This is about the abuse our children are seeing, the citizens are seeing, and everybody else. We are law-abiding citizens. I feel like a civil citation should not be treated like a felony traffic stop. And what we're experiencing is simple citations being treated like a felony stop. None of our kids use drugs. Guess what? They got pulled down and searched, correct? Was any drugs found? The reason why they pulled him over, did they give the ticket? The real reason why when he unhooked the seatbelt, my son told me they rode with the seatbelt. That's why you're saying 77, because they're so scared when they hear 77, right? How do you know 77?
The kids told me.
How I know 77? Because they're scared. They said 77 came, all we seen was guns. So if everything's all right, what was the reason? If y'all called a 77, it took 10 other officers to come. They roughed my son up. They pushed him all on the car. Everything else but everything's cool. Sweep it under the rug. I don't think so. And I have the right to voice my opinion without being harassed by y'all officers. I don't block over 7 officers. When all they can do is come say, let's talk, we can figure this out. They know who I am. Y'all on my page every day, I can't even post good morning without 3, 4 officers. And it's not even y'all private page. Y'all going on y'all personal pages. The gang members are going on their personal pages. It's about 7 or 8 officers that comes with, what's their shift? When is the shift? Wednesday through, what's the shift that the officer come on and get harassed the most? It's on the gang. They all run together. It's 5 of them come the same time because they're all running together. And they're calling on cell phones to meet up, not over the radio. They're playing the game with this community and they're treating us like we're on Grand Theft Auto. Simple as that. And that's my concern about my children, my grandchildren, and my children, because it's not going to get better. It's only getting worse, and they're covering it up just like this. Some of the officers that we had in this meeting for should have been present. It should have been a demand. The same way how when we go to court, they can zoom in. It should have been a demand because we're not here for y'all. You know who we're here for. You know who we're here for. You know who we're here for. Let's stop playing. And let's get to the real problem. You guys are not the problem. The police are not the problem. It's certain police that's the problem. And y'all are here like we're saying the police is bad. We don't like police. We like what y'all doing. We see y'all communicating with the kids. We see y'all shooting, but guess what? We also see y'all shooting hoops with the kids. Those same kids they were shooting hoops with had guns on them. Not what they think. What they think. My son got pulled over 2 in the morning. 2 in the morning, plenty of times, no ticket. Come get him. He's with a girl, just come get him. Those were kids coming home from school in the daytime. They're not afraid. Not afraid. Back roads, woods, come get him. No guns. They're not afraid. It's daytime. If he was afraid, he should have waited for backup. Simple as that. Then cursing. My son said he was just a cursing and fucking this, fucking that. You want us to talk to y'all like that? If my kids would have did that, they would have arrested him, left him in the car. It said resisting. That's the favorite line, resisting without violence. But guess what? My son had enough sense. Like, he told me after that, he said, "What the fuck wrong with y'all? Y'all throwing me up on the car." He already in handcuffs. There was no need. He wasn't gonna fight. He wasn't gonna bite. He was in handcuffs. So that's what we're saying. Excessive force. We're saying race. No, it's a case of discriminatory because it wasn't just blacks in that car. It's the area we're in, but they don't realize a lot of houses are built, plenty of people pass through here. We got plenty of different people passing through here, and simple citations should not, okay, let me search. They didn't smell anything. What was the smell? Have you ever smelled drugs in your son's car? Never? Okay, so why did they search your car?
Well, he consented to the search.
He did, and my son, he said they thought that was gonna go better, but it got worse. But another thing is, we have to teach our kids what to do when they're stopped by the police. Because that was their first time, they laugh and they playing. Instead of asking to put on the shoe, he's been down, guns come up. But that's when you're thinking their guard is down, they're comfortable. Now they put on the shoe, get out the car, put on the shoe, 6, 7 guns in their face. Kids. That's all I want y'all to know. Y'all think about it as this. You can be your kids, my kids. You don't even have to be in Oakland. You can be anywhere. Teach them what to do when they get stopped.
Thank you. Yes, Miss Allen. Yes.
Good evening, everyone.
Chief Jackson and the police staff for giving us the opportunity to hear our concerns and for us to listen to each other. I am representing the citizens in my community. I live in the Oakland community. I have several concerns from my neighbors. I live in a community where we have elderly people, and they are afraid to come out and speak their opinion. So I told them that I would try to come. My first concern is that cars are blocking both sides of the streets on Avenue L, all the way down to 12th Street and Bartlett Street. We constantly hear loud music, a lot of profanity playing, and things that hopefully we don't want our young youth to continue to hear. We have a lot of cars in that area, especially from Thursday to Sunday night. Loud music, both sides blocked. Also, there appears to be a breakdown sometimes in the police department communicating with our elderly citizens. A lot of them are not able to pull up the technology, they may not have a computer or a laptop. In the past, we tried to communicate with our citizens, especially the elderly ones, by passing out flyers. I know this is obsolete because we live in a technology age, but many of our citizens are not able to pull up the technology like some of us can. There was a time when we had flyers sent to the churches. It has been suggested at the commission meetings that we start putting information on our water bills. That has not taken place, and it's been suggested for many years. Also, we have a lot of senior groups in our community. We have an exercise group. We have a swimming group. We have a senior computer group. Information could be passed out to different groups so they can share with other people in the community, especially our young people. A lot of our young people should have been here tonight. The video that we looked at on the screen, I learned something because I've been stopped by the police. And I followed, I slowed down, I put my blinkers on, and I went to my house. And I didn't know any better. So he asked me, well, why didn't you stop? I said, I'm a lady. I was on a dog street by myself, and I wasn't sure where you were an official police officer or not. So he was very kind to me, and we talked, and everything bounced out in my favor. Also, I want to reemphasize about we have many cars speeding down MLK Street. Most of the cars that are in the area, it appears that they are people who do not live in the community. They're spinning, doing donuts on MLK, and the donuts, you have circles with your tire marks, and also burnout, leaving marks on the pavement. That's happening on MLK, Avenue M, Avenue N, 10th Street, etc. So I'm just happy to see that we, the police officers, giving the community an opportunity to communicate with each other. And I'm sure things will get better. Thank you.
Well, it'll take at least one more from the area.
Got one more day, Commissioner.
And then we're moving forward.
Sir, I want to say, why do things have to happen before you do something about it? So you do something first,
an idea you definitely should take to the commissioners meeting.
We're gonna go ahead and continue. Thank you, ma'am.
Good evening, I stand with a concern, I got a 16-year-old right here. I had him come and sit here, I don't see nobody really near his age. He just turned 16, got his driver's license 2 weeks ago. 3.7 GPA, don't bother nobody, don't get in trouble. But, and he has his own car, but here's my issue. When he get in his car and drive off, I'm more concerned about him getting stopped by the wrong police officer than getting in an accident. Because my question is, what's gonna happen when dad ain't gonna mom and not with him, and he got a police approaching the car being disrespectful? I know what I told him, but I don't know how he's gonna react in that situation, right? And so that's my concern as a citizen. What's gonna happen to my son? Like she spoke about what happened to her son. I don't know how my son is gonna react. And the last thing I want is for him to react the wrong way, and I'm a son, I'm a dad, gotta bury my son, who never been in trouble. Whose first interaction with law enforcement is something negative or that traumatizes him. Because something similar happened to me when I was younger. My first interaction with the police made me hate the police for about 10 years. And it was only because he was following me from street to street in the Oakland community. And this is in the 90s, you didn't see many people who wasn't black in the Oakland community. And he had a hatchback. So I knew immediately it was an undercover police. And that single interaction had me hate the police for about 10 years. So what's gonna happen to my son? And on the flip side, I just wanna know in the hiring process, like, because my thing is, what's the why? When people put on these badges and they patrol these streets, do y'all really ask what is the why? I'm in a position where I hire people. And I know what questions to ask if they're gonna be a good fit for my company or not. And so my main thing is, why are you doing what you're doing? The job of the police is to protect and to serve. Serve is the key thing. When you serving somebody, you treat them with respect. And so what she talked about, how the officers disrespected the kids just by the language that they was using. So in the hiring process, I just want to know, like, is it a situation where y'all really vet these people, and what goes into y'all deciding to hire somebody or deciding if they're not? Like, do y'all really look into the why? And we need people who actually care for our community, and not nobody here just to rule, and nobody here just to punish, and to put people through turmoil. We need people who really care about the outcome of this community, and who are here to protect and to serve rather than to punish. So those are my concerns.
All right, so we wanna move forward. I think we have Commissioner Down.
Good evening, everyone. I'm here to speak on behalf of the citizens and the residents here in Oakland, and also to speak on behalf of the commission. So I want to start first with the commission, because there's been some misconceptions that the commissioners doesn't take what the community say, and that we basically do not follow up on any type of complaints. Chief Jackson, DC, all the officers can tell you that is false. 9 times out of 10, when they see me, I am not bringing them donuts at any point. And whether they want to see me or not, I follow up on every complaint as well as the other commissioners. So the misconception, even some people that I see here in the room tonight have spread that out on Facebook. Oh, the commissioners doesn't do anything, there's no need to complain to them, and Chief, you can attest that is false. Every complaint is taken. Now, do we make judgment? No, we do not. Before looking into the complaint to see if it's facts or if it's fiction. But I can guarantee you that we do take accountability by going in, reviewing every single dash cam that we have. And just so that the general public know, for you that's here tonight, and you can also spread the word. So we went through a phase that we did not have body cams. And the reason why we went through that phase is because we had issues with that current company that we were using. They were sometimes ineffective, they were falling off, the uniform protection for the public, for the residents, to be able to see is what they're alleging is true, as well as what the officers are alleging is true. Every time you come in contact with an officer, before they even come up to you, that body cam is already rolling. You're gonna see that on some of the videos that we're gonna show you here tonight. The dash cam in the vehicles are already rolling. And it is, believe me, top quality. We want to protect everyone. That's why we did not hold back on cost. We went with the best company that was out there to provide the safety on both sides. And every complaint, the chief can tell you, myself, the mayor, the other commissioners have woke him up out of his sleep, have bothered him at his brother's wedding just recently, called him at church. So there's no free time, okay? So if you bring a complaint to us, trust and believe you elected us for such a time as this, and we do follow through. I had residents call me. I don't care what time of the day, morning, noon, or night. I do get back with you. Do I take your word for it? No. Do I listen? Do I go and follow up? Yes. As well as all the other commissioners, because that's what we were elected to represent you. And first off, it is true. Now, I am going to say, I was completely surprised with some of the videos when I actually did see them, and you're going to see them for yourself. And as some of the officers have stated, and some of the community members, it is your first interaction. It is the first interaction from the resident as well as the police officer. And I'll be the first to say, even with my son, he got stopped and he was 25. And that was his first encounter with law enforcement. And I wanted to slap the mess out of him when I got to the scene. Straight up. I didn't want them to play that video because my pastor may kick me out of church, okay? Because I dropped some bombs on him. But I did not take the officer's side. I did not take my son's side. My son called me, true enough. But what he said on the phone was not actually what happened when I went to PD to look at the video myself. And also when I arrived on the scene. And some of the officers that was there, as well as Chief, when he saw it, he called me, he said, "Girl, you went off at that scene," because I did on my son. So we have to also realize that sometimes we can't jump to conclusion, and all of us as parents, we don't always take our kids to be right because sometimes they are wrong. And he realized he was wrong because I let him know that he was wrong, and I really wanted to tear him up on the scene, straight up, for real. But I didn't, because I probably would have had to ride. But we do have some issues. I'm going to say that. I think the staff that we have now, they're good staff. They're working through the issues. Some of them have already taken the customer service class. I worked with our CM for about 9 months to create something called Bridging the Gap, and I'm very big on the customer service side. So the majority of them, not just PD, but the entire city staff has went through customer service training. That's not their first one they're going to go through. There's going to be random days and times that they have to go through because we have to pride ourselves in customer service. And as I stated, that we as the elected officials, as city staff, police, fire, and we take care of our residents will take care of everything else here in our city, and we can all work together. So we want to show you some videos to show that the community is not always right, but police is also not always wrong. And this is a step tonight that we can start to bridge the gap, and that's what we're hoping to do starting here tonight, working together to go ahead and just bridge the gap. So I think Chief has some videos that he's going to play. But again, don't take it lightly or to say, oh, we're not going to contact any other commissioner because they're not going to do anything. I'm here just to let you know that we do follow up on any complaints, not just in this neighborhood, but for the entire city, because we represent the entire city. We have 46,000 residents that we respond to us here to elect you, and that's what we're here for, to serve the community. Thank you.
I know we're gonna play a few videos. I'd like to say something to you, Commissioner. We did get some calls and complaints to our office, and I want to share this, and I know that there was a lapse between the videos. But one of the concerns that, and I've got probably about 10 to 12 complaints from Haines City. One of the concerns was, and I talked to at the time, the city manager, and I spoke to him, one of the concerns was that the community wasn't made aware that those videos, that the system was not working until after the shooting had taken place, and that's why some of them were concerned. And so it built that reluctancy. Now, I know the full scope of it, so I'm not accusing anybody or anything, but I'm saying that disappointed some of the citizens. So that trust has to be built back up in that area. I say that, and I did talk with the city manager at the time, because many of them at that particular time were looking and expecting to say, okay, look, we got the proof this happened. And so and I'm just being honest, that was some of the concerns, but I think that was before this administration is in now. We've got all of those things working. Hopefully that will be there. But I just wanted to mention that, and thank you for mentioning what you, but I think those building the trust back in that regard really makes a difference, trying to build that trust back. So there are videos that they're gonna show today. And what I ask you to do is you look at the interaction of the videos that you're looking at, and you decide as an individual, not me saying what's right, not the officer saying what's right, you consciously looking at it, you make a decision whether these interactions, which way you think the interaction should happen. So I think we have 4.
Yeah, and to that point, guys, just keep in mind, we're not showing these videos to, discredit anybody, to make anybody look bad, but again, we're talking about transparency, right? So we want to be transparent. You ask to see the videos, there is a process to get them, but again, in this time right now, there's no better time than now. So we're going to show a couple videos, and I think Bishop left, but this is Chris pertaining to your situation. I'm not sure if you were contacted to come and watch them, but again, we wanted to show that because again, I know this is one of the bigger things that was on, that everybody was talking about at one point in time, so there's no other way than be transparent. So again, some of the young men, they are blurred out because of their age, but again, there's no cut in the video. We're gonna play that video straight through for the community. If you guys are interested, we'll play it right now, so here we go. And the understanding is everything, so we gotta make sure we get an understanding.
Okay. All right, bro, you good? I thought the car was stolen, because that's the key sign that a car is stolen. Is when the car alarm's going off and you driving it. 77. All right, man. Let me go back, run everything. I'm gonna meet you on your way. Where do you stay at? After Jeep? All right, sit tight for me. I'll cut you off in just a second.
Now, at this point in time, he's running their licenses. I can push it up a little bit if you guys want, or we can stay watching this. It's up to you guys. Push it up? Okay.
So while you pushing up, I got a question. You said the cameras automatically go on.
Yo.
What happened to the first like 30 seconds?
It was in his cup holder.
Oh, that's.
So, let's go, bro.
They work in the cup holder.
Hey, is there anything in the car? Hey, y'all, wait, what's up, man? Yo, what's up? Let's go, bro. Y'all find him? Oh, you got gauge on? Nice. We've been looking for him for like a week. We figured y'all would come down here eventually. I'm trying to stay out of y'all's way once y'all came down here, bro. Shit. Sufficient of arrow down here, bro. Hey, is there anything in the car that I should be aware
The
about?
seatbelt is
Drugs,
on
explosives,
now,
anything like that?
but it wasn't on in the beginning.
Would you mind if I search the
Yeah,
car?
but the camera wasn't on at the beginning either. I'm not here to argue. I'm not.
Yeah. If you're giving me consent to sit, go ahead. Does everybody stay? We're gonna step out one at a time. You understand me? One at a time. Go ahead and step back there. Mind if I pass you down for weapons? Go ahead, place your hands on top of your head. Go ahead and step back by my car for me. Hey, front passenger, go ahead and step out. Place your hands on top of your head. Just do what he tells you to do, okay? Hey, wait, hey, stop reaching around. Stop fucking reaching around. I didn't tell you to reach around. I didn't tell you to reach around, all right? Go ahead and step out of the car. Come on, go ahead and step out of the car for me. You're good. Just keep your hand on top of your head. You're not in trouble. Step out of the car, bro. Because you're reaching around in the car, I don't know what's in there, bro. Go ahead, turn around, face sideways for me. What's in your pocket? Okay, go sit back there. Sit on that push bar across your legs, you understand me? What's the matter with you, bro? What's the matter with you? Cut that out of there. You want to take a ride now, bro? Don't want to resist. Sit on the front of that push button across your legs, you understand me?
Excuse me.
When we tell you to do something, you do something, you understand me? Sit down. Shit, I got itch for shit back there. Roman, or Mitch, y'all shove in one of your cars for right now? Whip your car up here. Whip your car up here. You got it? Yeah, I appreciate it. Sorry.
That was him dealing with a deputy right here.
Hey, you still have a chance not to go to jail, bro. Y'all weren't starting it up good enough. I had to come up. Y'all find him? I got some. Oh, yeah. I thought he was in Winter Haven where his girl stayed. This is his girl stay over there? I couldn't. I searched like hell. I tried to get snitches on that shit.
They just stopped the bullshit.
He's searching the car. I can fast forward from this point, or if you want to keep it there, we'll keep it there. It's up to you guys. What y'all want to do?
No.
Keep playing?
You want to see it?
Keep playing?
Huh?
All right.
Yeah, I would say you could stop. Outcome, long story short, was all of the kids were released, and the story that we received from the police department was not transparent.
And I think I can bring some light to that. I'll get it to the end and I'll shed some light on that.
Listen, Mom, when you pass me over there on 10th Street, you weren't wearing a seatbelt. I saw you reaching for it. As long as everybody else in the car wasn't wearing a seatbelt. You feel me? Alright? Here's your driver's license. $114. Alright, you got 30 days to pay that. Yeah. Listen, bro, if you weren't messing around, I wouldn't have grabbed the hold of your tattoo, alright? Alright? Listen, you start digging around where you got book bags and bags, you tell me how I'm supposed to know what you're reaching for. Alright? Alright, I appreciate you being
I'd like to, if possible, I'd like to ask just a question, and this is one of the reasons the video is played. In the community, who saw something wrong with that stop from the community? They saw something that was wrong with that stop. Okay, that's what we want to do. What I like to get you tell me what you saw wrong with that stop.
When they got the guys and they ran their license or ID or whatever, why did it go further? What was the problem?
Exactly.
What was the problem? Yeah,
Why
they
did
got
it escalate
information.
so Why the
Everything
excessiveness
came back clean, so
after he
why not
handed the
give the
IDs back?
ticket
Right.
to the driver for a seatbelt and let it go?
Right. Right.
So, I mean, what was all of that other stuff was about?
Anyone else?
So,
We'll
let me shed some light on the story again, guys. And again, no, I'm going to tell you. So that day, the sheriff's office and the FBI were out looking for a you gotta let me tell. They were looking for a federal warrant. Okay. From what we got, we thought this was that. So that's why the information of the FBI and sheriff's office was looking for him. But what we come to find out was this was a whole independent stop from them. They were actually in the area a couple streets over. So when he made this traffic stop, they finished what they wanted to do, and then they came over. They weren't called. Again, that's an officer thing. They see them, they're gonna come over. So they weren't called or anything like that. This was a separate stop from initially what we were all told, because that's what came to me. The sheriff's office and the FBI are looking out for this federal warrant, a DNA swab. That's how we got that information. That's how the lines was crossed. That's why I think the captain maybe called you to try to get you to come in and tell you actually what was happening.
Yeah, I had to explain to him, and I think it's important, in any, wherever you work, however you're engaging with people in general, that you have a mutual respect. Of course, we all have the same sentiments about that. You lead with empathy, and then you use your common sense. Common sense will go a long way. Common sense policing will go a long way.
Mm-hmm.
He was prior police. I'm prior military.
Yes.
My son, that's my car, my son, and we don't live in Oakland. We live outside of Oakland. We're not from Haines City, but we raised him right. He hangs out with the right people. They play basketball for Rich Community since 9th grade. They are travel basketball with Haines City. They're playing basketball in these leagues. They're very involved in this community. And they're here and they represent it in a good manner. All of them are going to college. My son is leaving in a couple of months to college, full ride. So even the captain explained, they handled themselves very well.
They really did.
They really did. My brother is NYPD. I called him, I explained to him, the situation, and he was like, I'm proud of you and Chris, because you raised him right to understand how to handle himself in a situation. But the officer took the situation out of context. He took it excessive. It was not necessary. Common sense shows that it's not necessary. And I feel that if it's Haines City Police, yes, the sheriff is above this, the FBI is above that. But if in this situation, the cop says, oh, we got Kayshawn. He knows Kayshawn is not in the car. So he should say, this is not your stop, this is my stop. Now he's taking your ticket. If anything, I'm fighting the ticket. I'm fighting a $114 ticket because I don't wanna pay it. Because if he done wrong, like he didn't have a seatbelt, he's paying the ticket because he has a job, a full-time job at a park. So he goes to school, he goes to work, he plays basketball. He will pay that ticket because I make him responsible. But when there's irresponsibility, that goes on the fault of the officer. He should have handled that situation with those other law enforcement way better than that. He could take accountability. What you all doing right here are not right. I don't care if you're above me, you're the captain, you're county police. What you're doing right here to these individuals are not right, and someone has to have that accountability to speak up. And in this case, not only did Haines City Police not speak up, but they let the situation get exasperated. And now I'm looking to file a lawsuit. I don't deal with this. Right is right, is wrong. If my son is wrong, he's getting dealt with. You got a speeding ticket, you don't drive your car, you Uber to work, that's on you. But in this case, it could have been handled way differently. Absolutely way differently. More cops, search. They're 16, 17. One of the officers, supposed to be FBI, was groping on his friend and said, this is the way it feels to get searched by a grown man. His words. Now, there's a lot of, Me Too's and, sexual assault cases for everyone. We don't know if this police officer is an abuser. Just because he's a cop does not mean that he's a good person. He could have been on the hunt for another sexual case and trying to grope someone up because that's his pleasure. We don't know. So if you handle yourself the right way, the right time, I teach my kids, do right, be right. You move right, you'll be all right. So if he handled the situation right from the beginning, this wouldn't have happened. In Haines City, we were getting $114. But now I'm looking at a lawsuit. I cannot appreciate this. I didn't get the opportunity to even say that this could be played. I don't really care because I know it's wrong. But this should have been handled differently, and I think it comes down with due diligence from Haines City Police, training, like someone else said. Do they understand how to, deal with people of, different communities, different cultures?
So cultural training.
Yeah, they're just 4 black kids with dreads in Oakland, and that's the perception. Oakland's the ghetto, but it's not. It's not. It's the area. You are being discriminated against in your area, and I don't live in this area. In my community, we don't see police either. Not that there's no crime, but we don't see police because it's a more relaxed community. Doesn't mean that they shouldn't be there. You should have a presence everywhere, and there's people speeding up and down the street. They're breaking the law. Do something about it. Write them up. A ticket. Do whatever. But in this case, same. He was not wearing a seatbelt. He gets a ticket. Everything else is unnecessary. And this is what this community is seeing, the everything else all the time.
There's 2 things that stuck out to me, and it's 2 things that the commissioner said. The body cam footage, off the rip, there's 2 things that stuck out to me, and 2 things the commissioner said. The minute the traffic stop started, there was no body cam footage. He said that it was in his thing. So we don't know 100% if he took off that seatbelt because he was scared or not. That's 1. 2.
His dash camera's on too.
All right, well, I would like to see that.
Yeah.
2, customer service. That's not how you used to do a traffic stop. Hey, yo, bro. The bro. That takes all the authority away from all this.
Right.
Definitely did one.
Right.
Honestly, this is disgusting for me being the sheriff from New York and seeing how this was just, how they were spoke to like they were friends. They're not. They're here to protect and serve. How they approach is how everything starts, and one officer said that. Like, I'm shaking because this is horrible. Like,
And I
this is
did
bad.
want to say that the other officer that was sitting here, and he gave the statistics, the gentleman over there, although enlightening, those statistics actually prove what we're saying. If you have 500 arrests, 500 pullovers, or what have you, in Haines City as a city, 93 are in Oakland itself. That's 20% in this one small area that the average speed limit is 25. So what are you really looking after in this community? And then of that 93, 66 are dismissed. That shows that there was nothing wrong. Giving warning. If you're giving a warning, why are you even pulling them over in the first place? Either they did right, they need a ticket, or they did wrong.
To give a ticket or
Right.
give a warning.
But the outcome, the ratios is too disparate.
I would like to ask a question, because I asked the community the same thing, so I'd like to ask the officers, from looking at this video, do you see anything that was done wrong?
The problem is being addressed. I can't talk
Oh,
about it.
listen.
We can't talk about it because it's being addressed. And
Okay.
we have steps that we have to go through. We cannot address it in front of people because it's being handled at our that the way I would handle it? No.
Okay.
Leave it at that.
Okay, so that's good enough to what I would at least wanna hear.
And it is being properly addressed.
Okay, so yeah.
I just wanted to ask a question. When the officer went up to the car and he was, hey bro, what's going on bro, how you doing bro, blah blah blah, would you have preferred that the officer go up there and, hey, remember somebody came up there and did the, hey, get out the car, get on the ground, get on the ground. That was a complaint too. Would you rather him do that?
I'd rather them treat everyone, if you come into my establishment, or if I have to do business with you and I teach my son the same, he can't bro me. Don't bro me, don't say nigga in my house. Those are two things don't say bro, don't say nigga. I don't appreciate that. I walk with respect, I give you respect. So in this case, even the captain said, your son was very respectful. He said, yes, sir, no, sir. So when a cop approaches a car, yes, ma'am, we're pulling you over, sir. It should be equally, don't make the situation, bro, we're not cool, you're making it calm so I can let my guard down. And then you can take advantage of the situation like this. I've contacted Polk County Sheriff. I've given them the incident number, and they said we were not in that area, we were not assigned to that area. So maybe it's the squad with their individual cell phones asking for backup. I contacted the FBI. I have communication to the FBI, and I'm gonna show them this, a part of my complaint, to say, you told me you weren't there, but you were. Because now we are getting lied to by Haines City Police, the Polk County Sheriff, and the FBI. And over a DNA swab, I mean, this is ridiculous. Now you're wasting my taxpayer resources. I vote, I own 2 homes here. We don't have time for this. The resources should be spread equally into situations like what they're experiencing, where there's no police and there's craziness happening. But instead, they're pulling over my son, and then exasperating the situation, and it was uncalled for. And this situation happens a lot here, unfortunately. It just does. And now I'm like, make sure when you go to Oakland, come right back. And his friends live here. This is ridiculous. His friends live here. They play basketball right here. This is crazy mayhem, and everyone's lying. So I can't appreciate the situation.
Everything that I told you and showed you was the exact truth. I have no reason to lie to you.
Right, I was gonna say, now we have this, so now I can take it to Polk County and the FBI, but I did contact the commissioner, never heard back. I've sent an email, a long email, to all 3 commissioners and the mayor and the deputy mayor. No one has contacted me back. So the sentiments of we are getting back, I have not heard back to say what's happening with the officer. What accountability is taking place? Is he on leave? You know, if I'm a manager.
He's on this administrative.
I would say I'm in a managing position for a financial institution. If something happens, you're getting, your corrective action, and if corrective action comes with you gotta go, then that's what it is. We don't know what happened. The officer right now is still on the streets, and he still probably is harassing. We don't know.
Well, I want to say that having this dialogue, it does give us an opportunity, and to see the video, everybody can voice their thoughts. I think this gives us, I think it means that we are trying to work on, because we're not here, I won't say we, I'm saying myself, I am for what's right. And if it's wrong, I'm not gonna support it. If it's right, I will. But I think the opportunity not to cover anything up, bring it up, but you can be able to see everything. And it gives us an opportunity to say, okay, this is what it is. And I think this gives an opportunity, at least for us, for everybody to be able to see what's going on.
Can I say one last thing when she's done?
Yes.
I was just gonna answer your question as far as, what we feel that was wrong in the stop. And I can say this now because I've already said it when I looked at the video, just pertaining to our agency, Haines City. I thought that the professionalism, as I explained to the chief, was, out of order as far as within their code of ethics, as far as the language that the officer used with the kids from the Haines City PD officer, although there was other agencies, but I'm just speaking directly on, the officer from Haines City. The majority of, what the passenger received from the back was from, I think that was a Polk County Sheriff officer, or FBI, but it wasn't Haines City, but I'm talking about our officer as far as the level of professionalism that was handled during this case.
next one is something that was hidden on, Facebook. They said we had 20 officers jump on one guy. So I think this is very important. Again, we're talking transparency. So I think it's very important to show it.
Your kid in the car? Bro, why you was driving? Bro, I saw you. 100%. You almost caused an accident right here, bro. You pulled in right here. You came to the door. You run the doorbell. That wasn't you. You gonna tell me that wasn't you? So how your kid in the car? Who was driving? So who was driving? I know you weren't driving. I know you was. So you ain't gonna be honest? Huh?
I wasn't driving, you didn't pull me over. I don't know why y'all.
Bro, you were driving, bro.
No, you didn't.
Bro, you gonna do this the hard way or you wanna do this the easy way?
What's the hard way? I'm with my kids. Why y'all bothering me? I can't breathe.
I saw you driving. You almost caused an accident. That's what made me look. You hopped out the car and you went to the door, bro.
Freedom? Surrender for what?
Because you're not free to leave. We saw you driving. Okay?
You saw me driving.
I saw you driving. When you hopped out of the car, the driver's seat, that with your kids in the back.
What are you talking about? I was never driving. Why are you?
You have the right to remain silent.
Where's the club? 1000 10th Street North. Movie 1015 one-time reference, criminal traffic, and resisting. God damn, boy, you broke my thumb. Why you had to say that shit crazy?
Bro, I don't care. I'm not trying to run, bro.
Not trying to run.
Just trying to run. I'm telling you, bro. No. Nah, ain't no talking, bro. Ain't no talking, bro. Ain't no talking, bro. I don't care, bro. Ain't no talking, bro. Bro, no, bro. Get up.
same thing I did before. I'd like to ask the community, is there anything that you see the officer done wrong or the young man done wrong? Anything at all? I just want to, yes.
I don't know if I missed something in the video, but when the video came on, he was standing in front of a home. So I don't
Yeah,
know.
so what happened, he almost caused an accident. The officer turned around to make a traffic stop. He pulled in a driveway and jumped out the car. In the beginning of the video, you can hear him say, "My kid's in the car." That's why the officer like, "Why you left your kids in the car?" So I saw you get out, you were driving. And the thing with this is it hit, and everybody say 20 officers jumped on this guy. 20 officers, it was only 2 people. Now what happens is they just put him in the car, and now here comes everybody running because they think the officer got in a fight. So it really hit really big, and it was like, whoa, Haines City, they're not doing it, they jumping on people. No, we didn't jump on people. You know, this is a whole different situation from you guys. But at the end of the day, he's already in the car by the time the other 7 units get there. Now, by the time the other officers got there, that's when everybody started taking pictures and put the narrative out that we jumped on this kid, and we didn't at all.
Yeah, and he shouldn't have, of course, fled, like, or attempt to flee or whatever.
Yeah, he actually tried to run and ran right between the officers, and they tackled him.
And I wanted to speak on that too. That's my son's brother. And after he was arrested and he got to the police station, that's his mom over there.
Okay.
When he got to the police station, which they was really looking for my son. My son, y'all speak on the body camera footage, this and that. It's body camera footage for a charge that my son have been charged with 4 charges for something that he did not do. They have body camera footage. It wasn't I saw the footage on my own. It's not my son. My son's still in jail on these very same charges that he had nothing to do with. He was at home minding his own business. He got charged 4 charges. No kind of investigation at all. If they would have did any kind of investigation, fingerprints, anything, it would have been known that that was not my son. Just because this person got thick eyebrows and poofy hair, they think it's my son. I seen the body camera footage. I had a meeting with Jackson, everything. I saw the footage for myself. It's not my son. That's his brother, who they thought was my son when they arrested him that night. So once he got to the police station, Officer Ziegler came and told him, "Oh, you're Rashawn," which is that's my son's middle name. "Oh, you're Rashawn. You're the one who hit me," which it wasn't my son who even did none of this stuff. None of this stuff. He didn't do that. "Oh, you're Rashawn. Oh, you better be glad I didn't catch you." No, he told him, "No, I'm Keyshawn. I'm not Rashawn. Well, you let Rashawn know we got new tasers, and when I catch him, we're gonna put all 4 bolts in him for running me over." When my son had nothing to do with this. My son's sitting in jail right now on 4 charges that had absolutely nothing to do with him.
Thank you for speaking. I want to, and I think I've spoken to you about it. I want to see from this video here.
And they speak on the body camera footage, but how the body camera footage is there, and it's obvious that it's not my son. So why my son still sitting in jail on charges that he got nothing to do with?
So, and we did meet, and we actually had a conversation with the state attorney, right? And the state here.
So we talked to Captain Neblino. I'm over operations, so I oversee pretty much everything. I make DC and chief look as good as possible, so that's kind of my job. So we did speak with the state attorney, right? The state attorney said if those officers are identifying them as that person, she is not removing that warrant for the person. We spoke to both officers. They are dead set that the identification they made is that person, and then it will be played out in court.
appreciated even him saying something, but I think you did the right thing by, you filed a complaint.
I'm gonna file a complaint and I'm gonna sue them as well, because my son's sitting in jail on charges that he have absolutely nothing to do with. And it's plain as day. The body camera footage, half of a face, can't even see the whole face. All you see is hair, eyebrows, and the nose. And you gonna go off of that? How can you identify my son off of that when you don't even know him? You don't even know my son. And then keep pulling, as the warrant was out, my nephew looked similar to my son, still don't know him. They drawing guns on my nephew on every corner, thinking it's my son and it ain't even him, still don't know him.
And again, you know, it really not to sound rude or bad, but again, we did have that conversation, and I think that's one of the things you really gonna have to show your evidence in court with. So, we did.
Next, this is the next video.
Yeah, this is the last one because we're pressed for time, and I know it's kind of late. So this will be the last one, and then we'll get on up out of here.
What time is it? 7:50? Juliet Delta Foxtrot Delta 23, gonna be on 7th Street, 4th Avenue on a silver Mercedes. Delta 23. Hi, I'm Officer Hamilton of the Haines Police Department, ma'am. How are you? Okay. Alright, can I have your license, please? What you stop me for? Can I have your license, please? What you stop me for? Please don't do this. Just give me your license.
No, but what you stop me for?
I don't have to tell you that until you give me your license.
Yeah, you gotta tell me that.
So I'm gonna ask my sergeant to tell you to give you the license.
Who you asking to call permission or not?
That would be a mistake.
No.
I'm stopping you for your tip. Can I have your license?
Man, my tip be
You're gonna give me your license or not? I will take you to jail right now. I've been nothing but nice to you. Give me your license. This is the last time.
nice to me. You was not nice.
There's a body cam reviewing it, ma'am.
I don't care. You was not nice to me.
Okay.
Somebody you stopping me for my tip. Man, I've been having this car before you even came on this for me.
Okay. Well, you about to get a ticket for your tint.
I don't care what you do.
Okay. All right, can I have the car registration too, please? You're the only out of like 25 traffic stops today. You're one of two people to act like this.
Man, I don't care what you do. Cause y'all act like an ass every day.
Okay. Well, I wasn't an ass. I was very respectful to you.
I'll bump it up a little bit.
Up here on this damn hill.
Can you roll up your window halfway for me?
He got all these damn police behind me like I'm a fucking criminal.
That's Downey, by the way.
All you're doing now is writing a ticket. So I'll bump it up. You asking about this one, or we
Yeah, I just
always
wanna
have,
know.
we always have to have probable cause when we make a traffic stop, yes, ma'am.
So when they come up to you they stop you and they say, why did you stop me? They have to tell you why.
Well, again, we went over it on Florida State statute, and then we will tell you, but usually we don't have to come up and say, the reason why I stopped you, we can't ask for your license, then let you know. A lot of times, reason why we kind of flipped it, some people flipped it, get your license first, because we had a lot of people drive off and take off on us in the middle of a traffic stop without us even ID them. So that's why they flipped, that's why he said, ma'am, I'll tell you when you give me your license again, but
So you have to give them your license when they stop you?
yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay.
You do.
Do you ever think about educating the community? I think that's a big gap
Mhm.
about relationships and race. If you don't have the education and the knowledge,
Mhm.
that you're at a loss, right?
Right.
I don't even know in the state of Florida that I have to give you a license before
Mhm.
you can tell me why you're pulling me over. So the misconception is, I'm gonna give you a license, tell me why. Tell me why, tell me why.
That's
We're
one-
pairing up the youth. We're starting at 16 when the problem should be addressed at 7, 8, 9, and 10. At 16, they've already heard about their friends being pulled over. They've had a bad experience, their dad, their brother, whoever, right? I don't want to say it's too late, but we already have our ideas formulated on who you are and what you're about. Why are we not bringing it back to the younger kids? And it's being present, not only being present when something bad is happening. I don't know, stop by the school, play catch for 5 minutes. We're taxpayers. I'm sure there's enough of you can kind of spread maybe 2 around just to bounce around. I'm not being facetious or a jerk, but be involved prior to them being an issue. Maybe they can respect and grow to develop much quicker. And then love be a cop, right? Where I'm from, we had cops playing basketball league when we were 5, 6, and 7. So when I saw the white cop, and I'm gonna say, because my dad's white, my mom is black. I felt like it could come on both sides. So the white cop, he was cool to me. He was playing the hood with us. But it was relatable because he was always present when I was 5. When someone wants to be present when I'm 16, I might have already had a bad experience. I think maybe elevating that and educating the kids, that might really just eliminate a lot of the problems.
I'm happy you said that. Again, that goes back, a lot of that information can be given and educational purposes can be done through our cops unit. Now, that also comes with the responsibility from the community that if we're not out there because we are a smaller unit and we can't be everywhere at the same time, but you can request that. If you're in subdivisions, you can get with your HOA presidents and we will come out in HOA meetings and address people on different crimes that may be going on. We've done a lot when people have requests to have educational things on fraud, identity theft, and things like that. We'll do the same thing, it's, ma'am,
Is that a free service?
absolutely, we're not gonna charge you.
So if I had 12 kids and I'm like, hey, I want an officer to please, come meet me at the park. We don't have to do it formal because I think when it's formal, guards are up. Let's just meet on the street, let's meet at, don't football.
I would have done it. I can tell you right now that the cops unit have done things like that a lot to help educate kids. Not just kids, because adults need to be educated. When you can educate adults, then you can be responsible enough to educate your children. So what we really hope to do is to get more adults that have children to be to have an interest in wanting to know these things so that we can educate them in that. And that's if there's something that they want to do and they say, hey, we would like to have something where we can create a little forum or something and we can have our children there or the adults. We want to know a little more about if there are specific things, traffic stops. I think Deputy Chief mentioned about the tent on the windows, and he talked about those exemptions that come with that. But there are medical exemptions, and the medical exemption is lupus, autoimmune diseases, and those things that could trigger the particular disease because of sunlight or strobing lights. Could be neurological things that does that, but that has to be approved by a doctor and things like that. So I agree. And just to end on this note, I think it came up where why are they writing these warnings and not tickets? Well, let me speak for me because I give gave a lot of tickets when I was writing them, but I gave, I think, much more warning. And the reason why is because I gave warnings. Everyone that I gave a warning to, I took it as an educational moment for them. So, for instance, I pulled somebody one time, several years ago, but I pulled someone one time for occupying the left lane on the highway. How many people ever done that? You drive on the left lane, should be the pass lane, right? You got a whole highway and they love that left lane. You never saw people do that? They like to ride that left lane, right? Even if they're going the speed limit in the left lane, even if they're going the speed limit in the left lane, there's a traffic statute that says that if there is more than one lane going in the same direction, then you are not to occupy the left lane except for an immediate left turn or to pass. Now that is a legal and a reasonable, that is probable cause to pull a person all day long. I pulled someone over one day, and the only thing I did, I gave them a warning, and you know what I said? I just want to educate you on this. Because a lot of people doing this, and they was like, well, I'm going the speed limit. It doesn't matter. The statute doesn't say if you go the speed limit, you can hold the left lane. So here's what I'm doing to educate you so you would know. And the reason why that law is in place is to help mitigate road rage. Because people want to go, you think about it, people want to go, they might want to go, they'll go the speed limit, you occupying this lane, you got the slow one here, and they going over there and you creeping, now they mad. I've had to deal with road rage before. So that is a statute, but that comes with education. So I'm glad you mentioned that. And just to say this, if you want educational moments, then it'll be good for a community to get a group of people together that want something like that, and maybe we could set up something, because we want to not only tell you, but give you literature so that you can take back home to help educate, and hopefully from there, you'll educate your children, your sons and daughters, and your grandchildren, if you have any. All right, thank you.
Right, so I'd like to say that I'm grateful for the opportunity to come, and I hope that this will open a dialogue to correct those issues that are existing. I hope that there will be an opportunity to at least engage in some conversation that lead towards better race relationship. And I think, I will say again, this is the first time, and I've talked to the chief, and they want to have more of these dialogues, but I think the fact that we're out here discussing this and really giving everybody an opportunity, I pray and hope more of our young people in the neighborhood could be a part of the discussion, because that's where a lot of the problems that they feel like they're being mistreated at, and sometimes they're not able to voice that. But I think this is the beginning, and the fact that we're having this kind of conversation and allowing people the opportunity to discuss the problems and not ignoring them, I think we can go somewhere. And I hope that everybody appreciate the fact that we're here today, that we're heading towards making some serious positive change.
And on that note, I'm feeling real inspired. I know we had some tough conversations. I know a lot of this stuff was tough to watch, but at the end of the day, to get to it, we gotta get through it. And I think if we do this and continue to do stuff like this together, we will continue to move Haines City forward. Again, I've been sitting in this seat about roughly 2 months, but I think this is big. I think this is monumental again, and we want to be that agency of transparency. You might not like some of the information we give to you, but we're gonna give you the truth. If I can do it, I'm gonna do it. No, let me make that. If I can do it, I'm gonna give you the best effort I can. You may not like the outcome, but I'm gonna give you the effort. So again, thank you guys. I feel real inspired, and hopefully see you guys at the next one. So thank you.